welcome back to another video. Today I'll be doing some cream of pumpkin soup. So some of the ingredients that I will use, I might have some pumpkin here washed and cut, large cuts of pumpkin. And over here, these are what I'm going to be using to flavor the water before I add the pumpkin. I'm gonna boil these in the water for about 3 minutes, then remove them. So I have thyme here, onion, garlic, pimento berries, and pepper. The other ingredients that I will use in the soup will follow, but first thing first, I'm gonna add these to the water. Alright guys, so I'm going to remove the herbs from the water. There is some flakes, some thyme leaves in there, but that's okay. I'm going to strain it anyways. So I will add the pumpkin now. Oh, there are still a few more pimento seeds in there. Oh, great. So I'll add the pumpkin now and then leave them to soften. Alright, so this is what I'll be doing, and once the pumpkin is cooked, then I will continue with this. Alright guys, so the pumpkin is ready. So I'm just going to take them from out of the water. I am going to use some of the same water to blend the pumpkin. So I'm just removing them and then I will be blending them. Alright guys, so the pumpkin is ready. So this is the pumpkin. This is the water that the pumpkin was boiled in. This is some more water that the pumpkin was boiled in. I have the seasoning part of the noodle here, and this is pumpkin soup. I have butter here, and of course I have some coconut milk, and I'm going to use some of this in the soup. But first thing first, I'm going to add this to the blender. And then I'm going to add the pumpkin. And I'm going to puree this. So while this is pureeing, I am going to be preparing seasoning. The reason I'm going to do this is sometimes when you add it to the pot, it tends to lump. So I want to get the lump out of it first. So I have some hot water here. This is the water that I also use to prepare the pumpkin and the seasoning. So I'm just going to dissolve this. Just a small amount of water you need, because this is going to go in the pot with the pumpkin puree. Just gonna add a little bit more. Alright, so I'm satisfied with that. So I'm just going to puree the pumpkin now, and oops, just a little bit of spilling. Let me get rid of this. So I'm gonna be pureeing the pumpkin now. Alright, once it's done pureed, then I will show it to you. Alright guys, so I still have a little bit of water reserved from the pumpkin, and I leave this because I use a lot of pumpkin, so the puree is gonna be thick. So to this, I'm going to add some butter. So I'm going to allow this to dissolve a little bit. It doesn't have to dissolve completely because it's in before I add the pumpkin, because it will dissolve in the hot water. So I'm going to be adding the puree. So I am adding the pumpkin puree. And this is like marvelously thick. Can you stir this with onion a little bit, please? just going to allow the butter to melt and this to simmer just a little bit. Alright, because it needs to have like a thick consistency, but not too thick. It's not supposed to be too watery. So I'm just going to allow it to simmer a little bit before I add the coconut milk to it. Alright, so this is the consistency of the soup, guys. So I'm going to be adding the pumpkin, the flavor, the noodle part, the seasoning part of it now. I'm just gonna stir this a little bit. This soup is not supposed to be salty, alright? And then the final thing I'm going to add is the coconut milk. So the amount of ingredients that I put in it, I am going to be adding it in the description box. So this is basically what it should look like. I just added the coconut milk to it. I think I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm gonna leave this on for another 5 minutes and then we are done. Alright guys, so this is the finished product of my cream of pumpkin soup. I garnished it with a little bit of parsley. It is really delicious. You need to try this. And if you do like what you saw, you need to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share and encourage your friends to subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.